Good evening and welcome. Welcome to another episode of Around the Table. I am your host, Vision Coach Alicia. And as always, on Friday evenings, I am just so excited to come and sit at the table with you. Tonight, it's time for Table Talk. And as always, I try to bring you exciting conversations. Tonight is absolutely no different. I have a great guest with me tonight. Her and I am going to bring her up so we could get started. But before we do, listen, would you just go to my Facebook page, share this out, go check out my YouTube page, whatever it is that you have to do, invite someone else to come and sit around the table. I help women 50 years and over who are thinking about retirement and women who are 60 years and over who are planning their retirement to get started. What is started? START. Simply take another risk today. So, on this episode tonight, we're going to talk about healthcare. And normally, healthcare is around when you're starting to age. Most of the times, we are not ready, we're not set up, and we need help. So, let me bring up my very special friend and guest this evening. Liz, come on up and sit around the table with me. Good evening. How you doing tonight?
I am fabulous. And yourself?
I'm great, and you look fabulous. Thank you for taking the time out of your Friday evening all the way from Mississippi to join me tonight. I am just so happy that you are here with me tonight. Listen, Liz, I am getting ready to jump right into our conversation, but before I do, found out something about you that was super interesting, and I would like to share it with my audience tonight. Guess what? Liz was entered into the introduction into the Hall of Fame 2025 of Mississippi. Is that correct?
Yes. It is the Best of Mississippi and Be Empowered Mississippi Chambers. They did an induction Hall of Fame, and it's from past award winners that have won awards in Best of Mississippi Chamber award events each year. And this year they did a Hall of Fame induction, and so we all got like stars, like you do in Hollywood. We got Hollywood stars. Yes.
I live in California, so I am very familiar with those stars. I have actually gotten to walk on the stars, and I see it peeking out behind.
I was going to say, yes, you see behind me?
Wow, look at it. Yes, I am super excited. But that's not all that I learned about you. Here's something else that I dug up that I found. You also got the prestigious Best Mississippi Pink CEO Award. Tell us what that is about.
Well, I'm still learning about that myself, really, because I got nominated for the award and was actually awarded that Pink CEO Award, which Dr. Kathy Amos, who is over that chamber, told me, now that you won the Pink CEO Award, there's like this next circle of people that you are in. And so now Pink CEO basically is recognizing women who are CEOs and owners of their own businesses. And it's pink because, we're girls.
Yeah, we got to be feminine with things like that.
That's right.
Well, you know what? That's a good lead right into our discussion tonight. As a business owner and the owner of Hoops Care LLC, Compassionate in Home Care Services. Mm-hmm. So, Liz, tell us a little bit about you first that you would like us to know. And then let's dig into this because I'm very interested about home health care. And I'll tell you why as we go along.
Okay. Well, I'm from Mississippi originally. I've lived in a few other states over the course of my lifetime, but I actually started in a caregiving role at the age of between 9 and 10 years old. My mom got sick. And so my dad had to work to support the family, and my grandmother came and stayed with us, but we also had to help out with caring for mom. And that was everything from, it eventually got to the point where we had to help bathe her and changer and all those kinds of things that your young, even early teen age children should not have to do. But unfortunately, in those days, that's what family does.
Yes, yes.
And,
Well, I'll tell you one of the reasons why I was really excited about discussing this with you, because I had a journey. Back in 2019, two hurricanes hit the Virgin Islands where I'm originally from. It
okay.
destroyed totally my elderly parents' home, and I had to go bring them back to California to live with me. And when they came, they both started to get very ill. My dad had already had Alzheimer's,
Mhm.
and the shock of the hurricanes really devastated my mom. So I brought them back to live with me, expecting that I was going to revitalize them, and it didn't work out like that. And in the middle of that, my cousin also that was in the hurricanes, she came to live with me, and we discovered that she had a terminal cancer. So here I was, Liz, taking care of three
People.
people at the same time. And I was doing it because I loved them, but I didn't realize how much it was doing to me mentally. And
Mhm.
the good thing about it was I have a son, one son, and he lived with me at that time. And so he would pitch in and try to help me at times. But I am telling you, that was one of the most strenuous, most humbling also,
Yeah.
as you said, having to bathe them, have to change them. Ooh, it caught me so off guard. But through it all, it made me realize and to have the compassion for people like you who dedicate your life to doing this. So let's talk about your business. Let's talk about you as an entrepreneur. Let's talk about why. Well, you said why you really started this, because it entered into your life at an early age. But now, where are you in this healthcare, compassionate home care business?
Well, and I will tell you, I also worked in a nursing home when I was in college in Missouri. So that was even more caregiving experiences that I encountered in a totally different realm because it was a nursing home and we cared for a lot of what we call ambulatory people. There was two wings to the home. One was very ambulatory, the other was very bedridden and very the very ailing, I would call it. But what happened? I've spent some years in healthcare. Because that was not the field I went into. I've worked in numerous different companies, different positions, but I think everything I've done has brought me to the point where I am today, as far as my skill sets and my dealing with the public and working with people like I do. But what happened, really, how I got this started, was in December 2021. I was working for a nonprofit that was just, it was not a good feeling and not a good, just wasn't working for me. And I was praying and saying, okay, Lord, I know there's going to be something different for me to do. And I thought, there's all these people who need transportation. They can't get to doctor's appointments. They can't get disability because they can't get to the doctor. So I thought, okay, I'm going to start a transportation business. I'll use my car. I'll transport these people. It'll be my little thing I do. And so I did that in January of 22. I said, this is what I'm doing. I let a few people know. And the next thing I knew, somebody wanted somebody to sit with a family member. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. It's just me. Yeah, that's just, one day a week. Well, it continued and my name started getting out. People started talking about it more. And the next thing I knew, I was so busy, I was having to hire people. And so that's how it got started. And I ended that first year with, I think, 10 employees, which to me, that was enough. I mean, those people were blowing my phone up every day, all day long and night, and I thought, oh, Lord, what have I gotten myself into?
Yes.
But then I look at today, here we are. This is our 4th year in business and how we have I tell people this is God's business. He asked me to manage it. So I'm doing my best.
Yes.
And so here I am tonight talking to you. I'm at 30 plus employees. We cover the Gulf Coast of Mississippi area, and we are in people's homes. we are providing care of all natures, all kinds of things.
Wow.
Um, and just loving it, loving what we do. You know, they say if you love what you do, you don't work a day. And
Yes.
that's what the way we feel.
That is awesome. I'm a bit squeamish. So that's why it was so difficult for me to take care of my parents. But also, what we have in common was when I retired, I didn't really want to stay retired back in 2009. So I worked driving, medical transportation. And believe it or not, I made excellent money, doing it. I have two clients that I'm still friends with today from driving them back around 2017, 2009, when I stopped working a regular job and just wasn't ready to retire, wasn't ready to just stop, and could use the extra income, was not at age where I could collect Social Security or anything like that. And so I did that. But I never thought that I would want to do what you did. So I applaud you because my lesson learned, I did it because it was both my parents and it was my cousin. I don't know, very honestly, if I can do it for someone else. I will be running from the blood. I'd be running from when they spit up. It's just not in me. So I really appreciate people like yourself. I'm going to be 69 years old. And what if I needed some in-home care? And this is why we're speaking tonight, because we have to prepare ourselves
We
for
do.
what we do not prepare for. So give us a little bit of information about what it takes, what it may take. You said you have 30 employees.
Mm-hmm.
What does it take to run a healthcare business when you have to manage as an entrepreneur so many employees?
Well, I'm very blessed that one of the people I hired first, one of my first hires as a caregiver, she's excellent at communications. And so about almost 2 years ago, I was at that point where I'm like, I've got to have some help. I couldn't do anything because people were always interrupted, the workers were. So I brought one of my caregivers into my office staff. And I had her start doing our scheduling. So she was working the schedule. And to this day, she still does it. She's excellent at it. She'll tell me we got this problem. And I've learned to just let her tell me. And then if she needs my help, she'll let me know. But she's a problem solver, so she's going to try to solve it. So I've left that piece alone, which that helps me a whole lot because that's a big piece off my plate.
Yes.
I mean, that job in itself is not an 8 to 5 job. It's definitely more than that.
Yes.
So that's how I handle that. You have to step back and look at what you have and who can help you. You have to learn to delegate. I hired someone to do the marketing aspect, to help me with going and talking to the referral sources that we have and ones that we could possibly get, and help me on the digital marketing side. And I have just completed, this is another little tidbit. I just last week graduated from Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program and the first Mississippi cohort. So I have spent the last 12 weeks, 20 plus hours a week in this program. So I had to have help or I would have never made it. And One of the things we learned in there, one of the things they stressed so often was don't work in your business, but work on your business.
That's right.
So I started, thinking about that. I spent a lot of time thinking on what does that mean for me? And I started delegating things. I started saying, you keep asking what can you do to help me? Well, I'm going to give you this a little bit more work to do. And if I'm overloading you, you need to stop and tell me. But at this point, I need you to help me do this, and I need you to help me do that. We do a lot of long-term care insurance clients now.
Okay.
Where anybody, if they're, especially young people, you think about, I don't need that insurance. I got this, that, and the other, let me tell you, long-term care insurance has come in so handy for people because services like ours are not covered by insurance.
Tell us a little bit more about long-term care
Okay,
insurance.
so the long-term care insurance, if you get the right policies, and I tell you, do your research because you need a policy that's going to pay for the care you're going to need. You know, you may start out only needing 4-6 hours a day
Mhm.
assistance, but it may get to where you need round the clock. And the different insurances, and there's a ton of them out there, that long-term care insurance policies. You want to make sure that it's one that, number one, it doesn't cap you, and number two, that it does benefit you to where if you do need 24/7 care, it covers it. At least if it doesn't cover 100%, at least cover you 80% or some, a high number, because it's not cheap. It's expensive.
Yeah.
You're looking at, depending on the rate that a company charges, a weekly fee could be upwards of $4,000+ a week just for the care.
Yes.
And that's 24/7 care. So we have to you have to document it. You have to report into the insurance every week so that they're getting reimbursed every week, the clients. So that's something else that I handed off to the girl that does my scheduling. She can get the schedule done and she can do this and, a few other tasks. She's now helping with payroll.
Yes.
So
You found out as an entrepreneur that you have to put systems in place. You have to put the right people in place, doing the right things in place so that you could work on your business instead of in your business. And
yeah,
so with doing this as an entrepreneur, now what it has allowed you to do is really see the business functioning as it should. That's
yeah.
interesting. So Liz, the home health care industry, how huge is it?
Well, so look at the age we're in. We're in the baby boomer age,
Uh-huh.
right? And time. And over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, the baby boomer segment that and this type of business is looking to be billions of dollars that companies coming along can partake of that little piece of the pie and get their share of it. But it will be an industry that will be high dollar in just the next even 10 years from now. I know for me, my parents, so my mom, I said I took care of my mom. Well, that mom passed away, and we were very blessed to get a bonus mom, and she turned 80 this year. My dad will be 90 in January. I'm blessed that they're both very healthy. I called my dad today. Well, he called me, and I was returning his phone call, and I said, "Where are you?" He goes, "Well, I'm in Brandon." Well, Brandon is like 3 hours from here. He
Uh-huh.
drove himself up to Brandon to pick up a motorized chair for somebody and take it to him at almost 90 years old. So, Dad, and I got to think about it. That's got to be where I get a lot of my, still going strong.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Listen, hi, Reverend Vera, Pastor Vera. Thank you for joining us tonight. I see you. Thank you, Coach Ann, for checking in. And Nona, I see you tonight. Will you all go ahead and share out the broadcast? Because tonight this topic is awesome. Listen, I am Vision Coach Alicia, and this is Around the Table. And tonight we are having table talk. My guest is Liz Hoop of Hoops Care LLC. And this is a home care business. She is a top-notch entrepreneur who started this business from scratch, has developed it up to now that she has 30 employees, and it can still grow. I think she's trying to put a cap on it so that she doesn't, but you're not. Okay,
No.
it's great. That's good to hear tonight. Listen, as a caregiver, one of the things that happened with me is I found myself, Liz, walking in a place of fear.
Yeah.
It started when I looked at my father starting to deteriorate, when I was not as educated as I could have been about Alzheimer's, not really understanding the full function of what he was dealing with, and taking my mother to the doctor for 2 years, not being able to get a diagnosis of what was going on with her until we finally found out that she had cancer as well. And then I knew my cousin was going to die. And I, as a caregiver, was not taking the best care of myself mentally. And I started to live in this place of fear, and I was hiding it. I was pastor in a church, feeling responsible for all the people in the church, having to walk, and I am dying inside. In that, I started to research fear and found out that in the Bible that there was 365 times that God talked about fear not. And out of that, about 3 months ago, I wrote this book. It's called 365 Days of Confession of Fear Not. And it has one for each day of the year. He said to me, I have covered you with a fear not for each day of the year. And so when I started to study that, I started to deal more with reality of being a caregiver. So we have to realize that our mental health as caregivers are very, very important. By the way, you can inbox me. I can ship you this book out tomorrow. I do have some of them in stock on hand. They are $23 including shipping, and they're on Amazon.com as well. But there's 365 days of fear not. You don't have to live in fear because God has covered us for one for each day of the year. But I wrote that out of being in that constant place of fear. And then started to question myself about being qualified. This is why I said all of this about being qualified to be a caregiver. What does it take to make a person become qualified or feel qualified to be an in-home caregiver?
Well, the number one thing that we tell people is you've got to have a heart of compassion, because you're going in and caring for someone. You have to put yourself in the place of taking care of I tell a lot of my, I have my caregiver ages range. I have the 20-year-olds to the 60-plus-year-olds. And I'll tell the younger ones, think of it as you're taking care of your grandparent or or a family member, but you have to do this with a heart of compassion. And then we train them on how to do it, because there's techniques that you can use so that when you're caring for someone, if you're, let's say, lifting someone, for instance, if you don't lift them in the correct manner, you're going to hurt your back. You're going to hurt them. Your risk for falling with them is bigger. So learning how to the proper techniques for providing the care is very key. We teach how to do the bathing, because some of the clients have to be bathed. How do you get them into the shower? How do you get them, how do you coax them? Because you have the ones that, they love you, you'll do anything for you. And then you have the ones that are going to fight you. And a lot of that, it's not them. It's, you have to remember the disease they have.
Yeah.
And that's, a lot of that comes in the Alzheimer's sector. The Alzheimer patients tend to fight you more when it comes to things like bathing and showering and eating. They'll resist food sometimes. And then with other diseases, like we have patients that have wounds that you have to be real careful with. We have one patient that we've had him for over 2 years now. And the issue with him is he has a disease where if you have to be very careful with him because his bones can break very easily.
Okay.
And so, yeah, there's a way to turn him. You keep him turned because he's in the bed. So you keep him turned to avoid skin breakdowns and bed sores. And so we do train our employees. We go with them when they're new. We go and watch and make sure they do know what they're doing. They say they know what they're doing. So we want to make sure that you know what you're doing.
Yes.
Because our reputation is out there, and we have a good reputation. We have a, if you look at us on Google, we're 5-star reviews, and a lot of our referrals are word of mouth. I asked people. I asked a man or a lady today, call me, and she said, "Well, I got your name from somebody, this person." I'm like, I don't even know who that person is.
Yes.
But they had gotten my card at an event. We've been doing a lot of health fairs these last few weeks. So, and I've been trying to be out there as present with them too, because for one thing, I got new people in those positions, and I want to make sure they're doing it, like I want it done. So that's another thing. I'm trying to let go a little bit of that, and relax, so that I can again concentrate on the business, because we are also in the process of opening a personal care home. So that's a whole nother avenue. And that will be.
Whew, you're not slowing down.
No, I don't have time to slow down. And that was the big thing with the Goldman Sachs program, that you do a growth plan. And I went in there and I said, my growth plan is I'm going to buy this, I'm going to open this personal care home, and I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. And by the end of the program, I'm like, well, I was able to purchase the home, and I have one resident, and I'm getting it remodeled for the rest of the residents to come in. And they're like, I mean, it's blowing my mind how fast things are moving.
Yes.
I'm like, it's like, oh Lord, please, can I just take a day off?
But when you're walking in your assignment and what God has given you to do, it becomes where you want to do it, and you want to find different ways of doing it, and you want to continue to do it. Hi, Candace. Thank you for joining us this evening. Sheila, thank you. Sheila says that you are phenomenal.
Oh, I love me some Sheila.
One that you know. And yes, Coach Ann, don't work in your business, work on your business. Listen, so many of us become slaves to what it is we think is our business. And so we've got to learn how to really delegate. We have to learn how to put major SOPs in place. We've got to learn how to automate our business. And we have to learn, this is a big one, you all, ask for help. You were not meant to do it alone. Liz just told us that in the beginning, she was doing everything by herself. And in order to grow, and in order to make your business expand and increase and go somewhere, you have to put the right people in place that's going to support your business and is going to be there for the business. So Liz, this is what I want to do. I want to give you a few minutes just to talk about entrepreneurship and what it's been like, and what you expect in the future with what you're doing.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, when I started, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Luckily for me, I have a few people that I know, one of them being Miss Sheila, who kind of coached me in like putting a business plan together. I didn't know how to start a business. I just, like I said, I started this I was just going to run people around the doctor's appointments. And as it started taking off, I'm like, oh, I gotta put things together. And so that's when I quickly learned about putting a business plan together. There's different resources out there, depending on the state you live in. There's different resources you can utilize to help you with getting your plan in place. If you need, eventually you may need a lawyer. There may be some legal aspects you need to think about. There may be your finances. If you're not an accountant, I strongly encourage you to work with an accountant. Don't try to do it yourself, because I was trying to do everything, and that didn't work.
Yes.
And, so I really appreciate having those people in my circle now. And then just the one thing I've learned is you do have to take some time for you. And I say that not just as an entrepreneur, but as a caregiver as well. People will say, well, we're taking care of my mom. Okay, that's great. You're doing it 24/7. Your health is important. When do you get time for you? And people are starting to see, oh, I said, take respite care from us. That's like a day a week or so many hours a week, and let us care for her or him or whomever. And you go off, go do what you want to do. Go take a nap, Go to the beach, go get your hair done, go get your nails done, go shopping.
That is
Um,
awesome. So you provide as a home care. This is like major for me to hear that if someone is a caregiver, that they could understand and be clear that they're someone like you with an agency like yours could come in. They could take a 2-day vacation if they needed to
yeah.
and breed. I did not know that. I have a young lady that's watching me right now. I thank God for her because she was there when I was taking care of all these 3 people. And
Uh-huh.
she would come in because my dad, it was difficult because he had a what you call those things, and he a catheter, and he would pull it out, and then the ambulance would come, and it got so overwhelming for me. But she was there. She stepped in when she saw that I was on overload. She was able to say, "You need a break. Let me take care." And she started calling my mom, mom, my dad, dad, and she
Hmm.
cared for them like she was their mom. But it didn't hit me until you just said it that that's what she was actually doing,
Hmm.
allowing me to maintain my sanity because I was doing so much at one time. And you providing that. Listen, I hope you all are listening carefully because we all are aging. We all have baby boomers that are older, and we need to know the right resources to go. Let me put on here any of you that are in the Mississippi area or the surrounding areas. This is how you get in touch with Liz. She has a website, it's running across the screen. She has an email. And if you don't know, ask questions. She said it. I started out thinking I was just going to be driving some people back and forth to their appointments. And look at what God has done. He has given her this entire vision so that people like you and people like me can use her service. So, I'm getting a little bit thing because I want people to get this tonight. I really want them to get this. One of the reasons I went back to the Virgin Islands for about 2 years. And as I said, I'm 69. And one of the things that started, I was getting a little concerned. My son, who lived in California, he said, Mom, I can't get to you just like that if I need to.
Hmm.
I need you to be. But this is the kicker. He says, why don't you come back and live with me? I'm not living with you. You live with me. Oh, you gonna be living with me. I'm not gonna be living with you, so I can take care of you. And then the other day he said to me, I need you to write down for me all the things that you would like me to do if you were to pass away. And a lot of times people don't, because he saw my mom who died 3 years ago. He saw me pull out 3 sheets of paper where my mom wrote everything down that she desired and how she desired it, which meant that me and my 2 sisters never had an argument. Never, we followed her instructions to the T because
Hmm.
both me and my sister cared for my mom for 9 months and watched her. Because I moved her back after my dad died in California. We took him back, we buried him. She didn't, I brought her back to California. She was miserable. She said she wants to go back home. I took her back home. She got diagnosed. She lay down in her bed for 9 months and died. And so he saw this. So he's like, I need to know what you want just
Hmm.
in case. And so it's so important for us to have these conversations about home health. Mom, do I want to be resuscitated?
Right.
What, do I want to be put on hospice?
Mhm.
These are the things that are so important with home health care that people know and they understand. So Liz, I turn it back over to you.
Well, and to what I'm going to talk about what you were just saying, um, it's very important that anybody out there, I don't care what your age, whether you're young or old, because let's face it, things happen to young people.
Yeah.
I've got a 20-year-old client right now who was in a car wreck, and so she's paralyzed.
Hmm.
What what do we do? And so one thing that I have told people for years is you need to have a living will, which tells people what your wishes are should something happen to you, so that, or an advanced directive, I'm sorry, an advanced directive
Yes.
that tells them what to do.
Hmm.
Do I want to be resuscitated? Well, that depends. I mean, one thing people have to think about on resuscitation is, let's say you're a 90-pound, frail little lady, and they're going to come in there and do CPR on you. Well, they're going to probably crush the bones in your chest, and that'll leave you in worse condition than ever. So, do you really want to be resuscitated, or do you want them just to let you peacefully go?
Yes.
You know, I also tell people you need to have a plan for everything. Um, I do a talk that someone else taught me years ago, and when I get a chance, I go into senior places like the senior centers and churches with their senior church groups and do a talk called "The Elephant in the Room," and
Mm.
it's to talk about the elephant in the room, which is figuring out the things like you were just talking about. Where am I going to be buried? What are my accounts? What bank accounts do I have? Um, what do I want to do? If I have a little dog, what do I want to happen to the little dog? Or if I have a cat, or a pet, anything like that, what's going to happen to them? And think about all those things. And I've had many times when I've done that talk, I give them, it's a workbook, a little workbook they get. And I tell them, you need to go through this. And I've had them come back and say, hey, I took that little book and I did what you said. And now I have all my plan in place. I said, that's great. You need to do that.
Yes.
Because, I mean, we would tell people, and look for, you may have money out there that you didn't know you had. So go to Found Money and look. And we did that in one particular situation. We were doing the presentation. We said, if you might go check and see if you have found any money that you've forgotten you had, like maybe a deposit for electricity somewhere, or something
I'm
like
checking mine right now. I wrote it down. I took notes. Found money.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Let's.
And and I personally have done it, but I did it one time, and I had like $1,300 check out there that I couldn't believe. I would never have deposited it, because that's, to me, a lot of money. And so I was able to get that money sent to me. And then a few years later, I had a nephew reach out to me, goes, hey, Aunt Liz, you might want to check this. I think this is some money you had for an electrical deposit. Sure enough, it was money. So we did this talk, and this lady, she's up there on her phone Googling her stuff, looking up, and she started shouting, I got money. So she found some money, and she was so excited, and so that's one of the things I tell people: make sure you have those kinds of things in place, because we never know. Tomorrow's not promised.
No, it's not. Hey, Dr. Nikki Ziegler, thank you for tuning in. I see you, Diamond. Diamond, thank you for checking in. Maureen, thank you for being here with us this evening. And Martin, thank you so much. Go ahead and share this out tonight. This is an interesting conversation that Liz and I are having tonight. Liz, listen, there's a big word sitting on front on the screen that I want you to talk about. In-home healthcare. What is compassion? What is it that people should be? How should they be compassionate towards people in these situations in home healthcare? What is compassion to you, and how do you see people being compassionate?
Well, to me, compassion is showing kindness, showing love, showing that you have a heart, that you care. Don't be gruff and rough with people. Just show them that somebody does care for them. Because a lot of times these people feel like nobody, they feel like no one cares anymore. Especially these, we have quite a few clients that they live alone. I've had some that had no family. I've got one right now, no family. And so the people taking care of him is our caregivers and a friend of the family, or a friend of his, the daughter of a friend. I'll get it out right here in a second. But and we have people here the parents live here, but the kids all live everywhere. Georgia, California, New York, Texas, you name it. I mean, I've got people all over the place. And so the parents live in our area and they need care. So instead of them, and they don't want to move. So instead of their children moving here to take care of them, or because it would disrupt all their life, they hire a company like us to come in and take care of mom and, make sure she's getting what she needs, or dad. We have dads too that we're taking care of. So, but to me, compassion is just what I just said. It's showing them that you have a heart. It's showing them love and kindness, and that somebody does care about them.
Awesome. Did you ever had a patient or client that you had to actually prepare to transport them, to move them to a different state for a relative to intercept them or anything like that? Is that something that you do? Have you ever?
I've not ever had that.
Okay.
No, I thought you were going to ask me if I ever had a mean one. That one to fire. I've had a few of those. But no, I have had the patients that we had a lady that we were taking care of. We checked on her twice a week, and the daughter called me one night, and mom had fallen. And so we ended up with her going to the hospital. And when she was in the hospital, they told the daughter then, mom can't live alone anymore. She's got to go to a facility. So we scrambled. I found her a facility that we could put her in. And actually, the daughter sent us, paid for us to pack mom and move her. So we did that. We moved her into a facility where she told her children that she loved it because she now had slaves to take care of her.
Oh my gosh.
Because the aides are there to bathe her and do all this. So she thought she had slaves. And I'm like, no, honey, no, we're not your slaves.
Wow. That's interesting. Listen, once again, this is Around the Table, and I am your host this evening. I'm Apostle Dr. Alicia George, and I'm sitting here this evening speaking with Liz Hoop, who is the owner and CEO, entrepreneur, boss lady of Hoop Cares LLC, located in Mississippi, but she does surrounding areas. And once again, I just want to remind you about my book that I told you that I wrote, 365 Days of Confessions of Fear Not. Wrote this book when I was taking care of my parents because I was riddled in fear that they were going to die, fear that I wasn't taking care of them the best way that I could, just in a place of fear. It's $23. You can DM me for it, or you can get it from Amazon.com. The $23 does include the shipping. 365 Days of Fear Not. My DM is just Alicia George. It does not say Apostle Dr. Alicia George. It just says Alicia George. And I take any form of payment that you want to give me, and accept checks right now. I don't take checks. Not right now. We have to work something else out. But Liz, before we end tonight, how long have you been doing this? You said four years?
This is my 4th year in business, yes.
4 years in business. And from doing this for 4 years in business, what are some of the lessons that you have learned that you do not want to repeat as an entrepreneur?
One is I'd like to figure out how you don't work 24/7. I have learned the things I wouldn't do. I don't really know if there's what I would not do if I had to do it over. I would look for I would bring in people to help quicker than what I did.
Okay.
Because it does help to have the people in your group. You don't have to hire them. You can do some outsourcing, connect through networking with people. That's the way I've met some of the people that do things for me. I've networked with them. I have somebody that I use for, I talk to her. She's a consultant. So I talk to her when I have questions on, hey, I'm looking to get on this program. Can you tell me what I've got to do? And she's guided me through that process. And then I have, people who are still mentoring and coaching some. And then I have the accountant. She's not on my staff. She's someone who I connected with, and she does QuickBooks Online, which is how I do my books.
Yes.
And God love her right now. She's in the midst of cleaning up the mess I made. And thinking I knew how to categorize. But so I've gotten connections in different aspects. And then I just recently connected with an attorney. One of the things I've been told to do or advised to do, let me put it that way, is to trademark your logo.
Yes.
Because you want to protect your business.
Yes.
And that's key, because people will, everybody knows there's hackers out there all over the place that'll try and, we're so-and-so. No.
Yes, that's really a fact, because I'm actually in the middle of trying to trademark something that I have been using for the last few years, and I really just found out that someone else has something so similar to it. But the way that the person that's working on it for me is going to get around it is they're saying that they're going to choose some categories or something that it's not. Yeah, I don't know much about trademark, because I want to take something I'm doing to the other level. I need to do that. So that's important. So this is going to be my last question of the evening for you. Are there organizations out there that you are part of? Say, like if there's a dentist, there are dental organizations. If there's a lawyer, is there organizations for home care that meet like on a yearly basis, where you all go and connect and you all discuss and have conversations about healthcare?
Really and truly, there may be. I don't go to any of those. What I do participate in is caregiver conferences.
Okay.
And that's well, I guess so. To answer, let me back up. So what you just asked me, I guess that's basically what that conference is for. It's for people in our industry to go and to learn. But it's also for people not an agency. They do family caregiver conferences as well to help, help educate people on what resources are out there. And then, of course, you go to those, and there's all of the companies like us out there with our tables. Hey, come talk to us. Look at our stuff. And but yeah, I guess that's what we do, or how we get together is we do the caregiver conferences. There's networking groups that some of us belong to, but we're not all healthcare. Okay. It's all the groups, you know what I mean? It's all the industries that get together. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, listen, I want to leave you all tonight on this point that I think that Liz made, that I think we all need to pay attention to. She said that it does not matter how young or how old you are, but we need to start looking at getting things in order, because we never know when we're going to need home health care. You could need it at a very early age. You can need it at a very late age. But there's sometimes and some point in your life that you may need this. And if you do, you need to find out as much information about it as you can. And major thing she says is to learn to write everything down that you want people to know, that you need them to know about you and what your desires and what you would like to do. So Liz, I'm going to give you just a second to tell the people whatever is on your mind, whatever you may want to leave them with before we wrap up this evening.
Well, one thing that you were just saying is telling people, all that. One of the things you really also need to make sure is included in that information is passwords. We all have phones, computers, whatever, that have passwords to get us into places. So those need to be put where somebody could get to them if they need to. Your bank password, for instance, okay. In case somebody needs to get to the bank account. And I'm an open book. If somebody's got questions they want to know, well, I live in Louisiana. Okay, great. How do I get started? Well, I would tell you, first of all, to check and see if there's a small business incubator of some sort over in your area and tie into them. Or we have a organization here, that small business development, SBDM, which is small business development. They help you. They help you a lot. They'll give you, and it's free help. It's government funded, I guess. And they'll give you business coaches, and they'll help you write business plans and all those things that you need to do if you're getting started in your business.
Okay. Well, great. You are off to a great start. I mean, you started out just with an idea, and that's how businesses get started. You started out with an idea. Let me take these people to their appointments. And that's where your mind was at that time. But look at where you are today, 30.
Yeah.
Oh my God, 30 employees and growing. So Liz, thank you so very much for being
Thank
around
you.
the table this evening and coming and sitting with me. We had table talk tonight, and I'm telling you, you've shared so much information. Listen, you can always go to my YouTube channel, Boss Business Coaching, and you can see this again. You can get your paper, get your pen, go and take some notes, because believe it or not, if you are growing, you're growing older. And so we just want you to know that there are people out there that care, they're compassionate, and there are ways that to take care of your loved ones when you may not be able to. So Liz, thanks again for being with us this evening.
Thank you.
Certainly appreciated this conversation. So until next time, listen, as my cousin Lorraine always says, have a great day today and a better one tomorrow. So until next week, ta-ta.
Bye-bye.